Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of the 1-0 T90 Studios podcast. And I'm joined today by one of my favourite guests, and we haven't even had a chat yet. South Melbourne, new signing. Former South Melbourne player, former Avondale champion, former Adelaide United young gun. George Mells, welcome.
It's a lot of clubs. the list is just getting longer now in my older age.
You should have stopped at the second one.
Yeah.
Did you notice the pause? I was like, oh.
You left a couple clubs out as well. It's even worse. But it's the list of clubs is getting longer, and I guess as I get older now, it's inevitable. So, but it's all relatively good experiences. Seasoned pro.
That's it. You can leave it at that now. Just seasoned pro.
That's it. Well, before we get into all the nitty-gritty sort of stuff, thank you for joining us. I know it's a terrible day out there, and you were just at your training session, was it?
Yeah, down at Yarrabul, coach a lot of the junior teams there, and I've got the academy running out of there now. So, yeah, just fully integrated that program with the academy, and it's going well. Keeps me busy.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do it on a cold night like this, that's how you know you love the game. It's getting colder and colder too, isn't it?
Mm.
Somehow Jamie's in a t-shirt, but I like that kit. Where'd you get it from, Jamie?
Timu.
That's probably because my dad would have bought 60 of them.
Yeah, Timu coming through with the goods. Yeah, no, this is the new 1-0 FC home kit. So
Very clean.
I actually really like it.
yeah, it's actually class.
I hate that I like it though.
Thanks, well, that's cool. If you do like it, you can head to the
Go on.
online shop.
Wow, what a donkey.
Nah,
This
but
guy wants to
we've
plug
very
everything.
unintentionally become heavily Greek kit based.
Yeah.
Oh, so unintentional.
Or it is a bit unintentional.
It's
Didn't
so
mean that at all.
unintentional.
Yeah, no, you didn't.
Not like
mean it.
every other
But-
Greek club. So unintentional.
No, we'll touch on another great club. But boys, how are you guys? We didn't film last week because you guys got a 3-1 win over Bayside Octopuses. You know Bayside Argonauts?
Yeah.
3-1.
You know what an Argonaut is?
No.
It's an octopus, apparently.
Would never have guessed.
What a terrible name.
Never would have
Was
guessed.
that 3-2?
Nah.
What was the score?
I can't remember the
You
score.
guys coached the team.
No, it was this. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
it was a
gonna say,
6-2 win.
6-2.
It was a 6-2 win. Yeah, no.
Yes.
Izzy scored a first half hat trick.
Yes,
Yeah, bro, it was a hike last Wednesday out to Cheltenham, but yeah, through to the semis now. We face Heidelberg United away on the 16th in the semis.
Massive.
Huge game.
Do you back yourself against Heidelberg?
Why not?
I think we do. Like, I think all the girls are ready to go. It's probably the main thing that the club's really hoping to push for, because last season we got knocked out in the semis.
Oh,
So yeah, this season obviously I think it's our aim, for the whole club to get through. But we've had good results. Like our 3 games in the Night Cup, 2 have been NPL clubs, and then 1 has been a VPL club. So yeah,
It's actually been tough.
JB's got it ready to go. He's all set. So
beautiful.
Looking
Well,
alright.
I'll be there. Should have said that.
yeah, now you
Yeah,
have to
locked
be
in,
there.
mate.
Now you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
That's all. We'll just film the pod on the
No,
bench.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll just film the pod.
Me and you will be filming while he's on the field.
We'll see. Ali, you good?
Good, bro. You?
Yeah, good. Your haircut looks good.
Thanks, man. So, yeah, yours looks alright.
Thanks. Thanks.
Nice.
Anyway.
How are you? How's 1-0?
Yeah, no, we're all right. Don't worry about us. Actually,
Yeah,
we
good,
could
we
win.
won.
If you want to play futsal on the weekend, George, we win and we win the league, and we get promoted to State League 1-0.
No way.
Wow.
So we'll say, touch wood.
Part of the side.
A
no.
little bit cursed when it
You
comes
need
to
to play.
futsal
I'm
trophies,
keen if you want.
but we'll see. So,
Are you backing yourself for it?
Yeah, fucking earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you said in the chair, but whatever.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
Jesus.
Nah,
He's
we.
good on camera.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
great on camera. He's weird.
Spot on.
Oh, mate.
What an actor, man.
No,
He's got a face for radio, this
We'll
bloke.
be sweet. You gave me my haircut. It says a lot about your skills. But anyway, no one's really here for us, unfortunately, boys.
Yeah, fair.
Let's just get straight into it.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
You've
Where do you want
signed
to start?
Sign for Port Melbourne now. Maybe we'll go backwards. We'll go from where you are now, and then we'll go through a little bit about how you
I like
started and everything.
I like it.
I know we've chatted sort of about a lot of the stuff, but you're at Port Melbourne now where you were a couple of years ago. Obviously, fuck it, let's just cut the shit.
Just go straight to it. Let's go straight
You
to it.
signed for South Melbourne this season.
Yeah.
And it was, it was pretty big. And that's not just to blow smoke because you're here, but,
Yeah.
I guess the storyline around it was you're back home. You're back. You're a great guy. You played there as a kid. You're back there. We all saw the reel. We all saw the post. It was a really, really cool signing. Obviously, the season didn't really go how probably you guys would have thought it would have gone. Obviously, Esteban leaving. Results didn't go well. You are now no longer a player there. How did that fall apart? Where did it break through? Was it something that's as simple as just wrong place, wrong time? Or how did it all happen?
Yeah, look, it could be. It's still not 100% clear, to be honest with you. That's the honest truth of why I sort of had to leave.
Yeah.
As the way it was, put to me. But firstly, it was an honor for me to wear the shirt. It was the club that my grandparents, when they first moved from Greece to Australia, that they lived in South Melbourne. They're very much South Melbourne people, especially when we talk about Hellas and things like that. So then that's the first thing to say. To wear the shirt and to play for the club is an honor. It is a heavy badge. So I think that's all well and good as well, but I think I came into the club under Esteban, and I'm not your sort of typical player that fits the Esteban system. Initially, we did actually try to play a little bit more football in a sense, because he has his, sort of
Unique
rigid,
style.
unique sort of rigid defensive style, and play for set pieces and try to play a little bit longer up the field. Which I, obviously tried to be adaptable to, and I went there knowing that, because I just wanted to play for the club that I grew up, sort of loving sort of thing. So I guess for me, I was happy with that. I lived 2 minutes from the ground. It was a good point in my career. I was 27 when I signed there, so everything was sort of good at the start, We actually picked up some wins in the early rounds. We obviously won that game, Sydney Olympic. We won the Oakley game in the Community Shield, and first 3 games was sort of A-okay. And then things just got super erratic really quick. I think it was the St. Albans game at home. We realised we were playing Monday at home against St. Albans, and then on the same Friday we're playing Preston. And then all of a sudden, I think Esteban sort of got a bit sort of paranoid about that, because such a big fixture on the Friday. So I think we dropped like 7 players for the St. Albans game.
Yep.
And we lost 3-0 at home.
Yeah.
And then what happened to that? The fans started getting on the back, and it was almost like it put so much more pressure on the Preston Lions game. And then, we got to the game and we sort of rode through the pressure in the first half, kept it 0-0, and then obviously there was a huge mistake from our keeper.
Yep.
That was second choice keeper filling in for Javi, who was injured. In the second half, we got a red card, and the game was sort of finished from there. I think from that point on, the squad never really recovered under Esteban.
Yeah,
and
right.
unfortunately, like for him, it was just one loss too many, or one too many points dropped.
Just a domino effect.
Yeah, it was. And then I think the players, you sort of, when you play that style of football, you really need your players to believe in it. And for so many years, the team obviously
did believe in it. Yeah,
it
was working.
I think he has the highest win percentage out of any South Melbourne manager.
Oh, wow.
So if you take their history into account,
That's huge,
exactly.
yeah.
that's massive, right? It just was always unfortunate when he got grand finals, I guess.
Yeah,
Really.
exactly. Yeah. It was the grand finals that let him down.
And again, we sort of just got to go straight to it. Did the players sort of lose trust in him, do you think?
I think there was a little bit, because he was becoming so erratic. It was a very you'd walk into the change room, you don't know what would happen next. Something just would happen, or one player get taken out of the team for 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden he's back in, and it was a bit of chaos. And I guess that happens when you're struggling for points, right? You start sort of being desperate a little bit. So I think it was a bit of that. And I think the club ultimately they pulled the trigger on him being let go, and we had a couple of caretaker coaches for a few weeks, and then obviously Sinisa came in, and the results weren't as good at first, but then they improved
Slowly
a little
started
bit, and now
changing.
you see they're in a little bit more stable spot in the table, and I think I was a big part of that as well. I think
Leading up to his sacking, did you know that it was coming?
I think you knew it was sort of imminent, it was going to happen. And I actually think that actually made it worse. I'll be honest with you, because it was we knew it was coming, and it was almost like we weren't focused on what we're doing, because there was no real stability.
Like in the back of your head, just going into a game, like, is this going to be the game?
Yeah, it was super frustrating. Super frustrating. We almost wanted the club to sort of either stand behind him or say to us that he's going. It was like one of the two. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't actually think anyone actually minded either way.
Yeah.
Everyone would have had their own opinions, of course. But I think once we had clarity, then we could sort of. It's almost like a mourning period, right? Like
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to get it out of your system.
Because South were very quiet during that time. Like there
Yeah.
was no press releases, no statements, nothing. It was just like, and every week just kept getting worse and worse and
Yeah.
worse, and it was like the fans were very loud on social media,
Yeah.
very very loud, and
Yeah.
there was still nothing. So it was like,
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. I think it's like, especially for a club like South Melbourne, like there's not many of these NPL clubs, like to be totally honest with you, that would need to come out and publicly
without a doubt,
back
yeah.
a manager and stuff. There's clubs that can sort of get away with it because ultimately they don't have that big of a presence.
Yeah.
But South Melbourne is probably one of those in that handful that, especially because Esteban, I feel like developed a bit of a name as well within the, sorry, not developed, but he had that name within everywhere
Yeah.
where like he is going to get spoken about whether he's winning, whether he's drawing, or whether he's losing.
Yeah.
And there was a bit of radio silence, and that's from us just as outsiders. So I can only imagine what it's like to be a player where, as you said at the start, the first thing you said was it comes with it's a heavy badge.
Yeah.
So when you're going out there every week, and if you're saying that things are sporadic and a bit erratic, this weekend, as Jamie said, could be the game is gone. This weekend I might be starting, and then I might not play for another 4 weeks.
Mm.
So it makes sense how it was quite all over the shop.
It sucks to be a player in that situation,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it was tough.
Like knowing
It was
you
tough.
go out and trying whatever you're trying, and then it's like, really, what for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy's going to go soon, or is he? Or like, I'm going to play with my heart out 100%. What for?
Yeah, like there's a bit of that. It's like I think it was just messy. It just got real like messy, and I think with my situation, because obviously I can't speak for the rest of the players because they all have their own situations and they'll look at it with their own set of eyes. It was hard for me because like I never really fitted his style.
Mm.
He had a need for me, and then it was sort of like I'd be in for like half a game, get taken off half time, and in my eyes, I was like I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Did
and
he approach you to come to South at the start of the year?
Nah, it wasn't through him directly. I think the club, the way I understood it, had a list of targets for certain positions, and they sort of, talked their way through the ones that they could get. I think for me, the discussion I had with the president and another member of the club is that I was more of a longer term project for the club. That's the way it was supposed to sort of pan out. We know football things don't always pan
strange
out.
world.
You can have a conversation 1 minute and the next minute something else is happening. And I'm sure we'll get into a lot of that at different clubs I've been at as well. But, at the end of the day, I'm satisfied with my output at the club. I mean, I left the club being the biggest contributor for goals in this season. Even it's been a poor season. At the time I left, I think it was goals and assists, I think 7. The closest one to me had 4.
Well,
Oh, wow.
So, when I was brought in to sort of say I need to go start talking to other clubs, you can understand why I was probably a bit,
of course,
a bit taken back, a bit surprised, but I took that opportunity straight away. I cleared out my locker instantly, and I just said, okay, no worries, I never stay where I'm not wanted. So
Yeah.
it was an easy decision for me.
100%.
I just want to touch on obviously the start of everything that, the start of sort of the beginning of the end of this season was obviously that St Albans game.
Yeah.
Esteban being Esteban and how he's pretty much created that group at South Melbourne to back him so much, and you see from the outside that he backs his group. From the inside, can you sort of explain why he done that? Like, was it how loud everyone was about that Preston game, or because at the end of the day, it's like Preston just got promoted. Yes, it's South Melbourne Preston. It is a big game, but I don't think any of us could understand why Esteban and South Melbourne were dropping players in preparation for a game like that. Like, you know, St Albans weren't doing the best.
I think it was because it was obviously so early on in the season as well.
Yeah, and
I know that-
you know,
that's
if it
what it
was mid, but yeah, from the inside, can you sort of explain, you know, what actually happened in the lead up to that?
Yeah, it's really hard to say because he was the type of manager that would just make a decision sort of sporadically and just like surprise. He could surprise you with something at any time, and he'd only had spoken to maybe one or two players about it, and no one else would know. So it's really hard to know exactly like what the thought process was. But the only thing I could say, like for us, the surprise was it was so early in the season, right? You know, I think it was like round 4.
Round
His
round
game
4,
was, right?
yeah, round 4 was the
Like,
Preston
so
game.
you really don't have to start thinking about resting players at that stage.
Shouldn't.
Maybe towards the end of the first round, so maybe 11th, 12th round, and you start playing cup games or whatever. Maybe a good time to start thinking about resting.
Yeah.
And you know, managing those loads and things like that, right? So it caught us a bit off guard. I think St Albans felt pretty disrespected by it because I know they manage it really well, and I remember actually seeing him walking out the tunnel, and he's seen myself, Ross Archibald, I think Andy Brennan.
Yep.
I think Noel Bernardo was on the bench. I don't think he started. And there was a few others, Jordan Lampard. He's seen us training before the game. And he comes out and he's looking, and he says to me, he goes, you can't be injured. He goes, there's no way you're injured. I said, I'm not saying that. Because I said I wasn't going to allude to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's just gone, yeah, all right. And he's just stormed down the tunnel, and he must have just gone, G'd up his team, and just gone, these guys don't respect us.
yeah.
Go out there and show them, and they did. They took the piss out of
100%
us,
straight
and
That would gen me up as an opposition player.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to play those players against us. Like,
yeah. And look, and that was, and you know what? We could have gone to that St Albans game, got a draw, or even nicked a 1-0 win. No one would be talking right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guarantee you, probably the season would be completely different.
Mm.
It didn't fall that way on the day.
That's
So-
football.
You're left as the leading goal contributor. You were playing there. Things weren't. I think it would be rough to turn around to anyone in that team and say, "We're not winning. You've got to go."
Yeah.
So why are you not there?
Well, look, it's an interesting question. It's a question that I can only go off by what I was told, right? So it's very easy to make up like conspiracies and start thinking like, oh, maybe this happened, but all it was, honestly, we played I think I started every game I was available for under Sinisa. So that's the other thing as well. That I was a bit like, okay, like this is interesting. And considering in my last league game, I scored and assisted in the 2-2 draw St Albans, but their version of events is we played a cup game, and I had to come off just after half time. Like, so I made them aware at half time, the physio, that I was having this like shooting pain in like sort of my hamstring region. Found out after it was actually my adductor. Anyway, I had a tear, so it's like a 2-week injury. So after that game, they called me like into the office, and they basically said, like, in their words, I don't want to put words in their mouth, but along the lines of, you know, this injury that you've received here shows us you physically can't play at this level. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you're making a comment like that to me. I've been in the league for 5 years, you know, I'd be probably a top contributor in most of those seasons. It's a bit alarming, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, like a bit alarming, and
It's not like you're an old guy either.
no, like, is it like just turned 28? And I was a bit like, you know, we've had guys out for 8-9 weeks this season.
Yeah.
I get a 2-week injury, and you're saying that to me. So that's how I knew. It's almost like for them, it's my face didn't fit the picture for them. You know. So instead of saying that, to go off with that, I thought was a bit poor. And that's why I cleared out my stuff straight away, because I know where I stand there. Because I said to them in the room, before I leave the room, you give me the bottom line. Don't go here and we start talking different things to what we said.
Yeah.
They've said, as you said in the meeting, you want to find another club. Is that how it is? Yes? Beautiful. No problem. I don't stay anywhere where I'm not wanted or anything. I haven't got time for that. I'm 28.
Yeah.
Like, the days of me chasing something bigger, that they're gone.
Yeah.
I've achieved that. I've won an A-League title. I played overseas. I played in the junior national teams. I know what my limits are. I never played in the Socceroos. I never got to that level, but I know what my limits are, but I have achieved a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm satisfied of where I'm at, and I know I'll be around this sort of NPL region for the rest of my career.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not going to sit there if someone that think I can't do the job, no problem. I move on. I go somewhere else. So there'll be someone else out there for me. And that was my thinking behind it. So I could have sat there on my professional deal and just wind down my contract.
100%.
But I didn't want to do that. And for the sake of
waste.
the Australian Championship, I don't really care. It is what it is. I could have sat there, waited for the club to make a decision on these coaches. The odds are they probably won't even be there at the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly right.
They'll get rid of them and put someone else in. And yeah, I could have waited for that, but I didn't really care, to be honest. I was more confused about their thought process.
Yeah, because they just used an excuse. It was like a shitty
I
way.
would rather them say to me, we don't like you.
Straight out.
Straight out. Just
Yeah.
say, don't like you.
Yeah, don't make an excuse.
Or maybe whatever. I don't know what other excuse you could use, but something more than that, where I know you're come on.
Yeah,
Was
bit of
there-
a backing.
Yeah.
Was there a conversation with the manager, during this time of the club speaking to you saying that you're no longer part of the plans because of a fucking stupid 2-week injury? But
No, that was the only chat I had. That was honestly the only chat I had was with the two coaches about it. Even when it came time to talk to the management and stuff about my terminating, I asked them pretty directly. I said, "Is there something else going on here, or is this sort of the reason?"
Yeah.
And no, they said just it's the coach's decision. They're
Oh.
not going to get involved. And I said, "Beautiful. As long as that's what the reason is, I'm happy to tell people that's what the reason is. Because for me, it's laughable, but."
Yeah,
it's mental.
for sure.
But you know what? I will say one thing. It's a great playing group. Honestly, it's a really good playing group. And the results don't actually reflect how good this group is.
Yeah, yeah.
They just had a lot happen to them this season.
Yeah.
There's really some top talent in that team.
Were you enjoying it there?
Yeah, man,
Yeah?
it was good. It
You
was
were?
good. I training in the mornings.
Okay.
South Melbourne train in the mornings.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's close to home as well. It makes it really convenient for me.
Oh, yeah?
And it helps out my coaching and stuff in the evenings. It keeps
Mm.
that free. So
I like that training in the mornings.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah, we used to do that at school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite South Melbourne, but
Yeah.
at school.
Same, man. It's the same. So no, we start at 7 a.m. So we started at
Wow.
7 a.m.
That's sick.
Most boys be in the change room sort of by 6:30. Probably out of there 8:20ish.
That's top.
Yeah. So it's good. It was a good
What
arrangement.
would most of the boys do throughout the day? I'm more so the younger boys.
I think most boys had work.
Yeah,
They
you
all
just
had
go
a job.
straight to work after training.
No.
They had
Yeah.
jobs.
Yeah.
They all had jobs. I don't think there was anyone
Idiot.
that was sort of not doing anything.
Yeah, no, they would have just gone straight
Some
to work.
boys would coach with me in the evenings and stuff and help me out with the academy. Some of them still do. But yeah, no, they all got their own jobs to go, whether it's an office job or at a school or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah.
Was it 3 days?
Yeah. We used to train 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never anymore. Just depends when the game is. The schedule could change.
Yeah.
But no, normally 3 days. Yeah.
Mm.
I like it. Well,
It's pretty good.
I mean, as long as, and again, not to, because you're here, but so this could be something that could break a lot of players as well. Sort of being told like if you were someone that had a reputation of soft tissue injuries or long term injuries, then I could see why a 2-week one would almost scare a club and say oh yeah, well, before it gets worse.
Yeah.
But I think in your case, and I'm obviously could be completely wrong here because I really don't know, but it's almost like they were waiting for something to almost happen.
I think so.
maybe.
I got the feeling from as soon as the coaches came in that they weren't going to take to me.
Mm.
I've been around long enough to know. Just by when someone's looking at me, I just know.
Yeah.
I've played under some big managers with big personalities, and you learn a lot of things. Yeah, you learn a lot of things, and one of those was being under sort of Robbie Fowler at Brisbane.
Crazy.
You know, when you're in a room with him, you're shitting your pants.
Yeah.
You sit across from him, and I had to have a conversation with him about why I wasn't playing. And when he says something to you, how can you argue with him?
Yeah, you're not going to.
You can't argue
You're
with
just
him.
like, yeah, all good, all
He's
good. I'm
achieved-
wrong,
he's
my bad,
achieved
my bad.
everything that
Robbie
you
fucking
could
Fowler.
ever dream of achieving. Even if you disagreed with him, you sort of almost thanked him.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
you start apologising for wasting his
Sorry.
time. But
what was he like?
he's good,
just
man.
in general, was he
He was
able to
good.
sort of?
He's the only manager where I can honestly say that I didn't play more than one game. I think I played one game FFA Cup against Sydney FC, right? I think it was around a 32 game. Gave me some minutes. Played a lot in pre-season for him, no doubt, but in the league, never played for him. but I can honestly say I enjoyed it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, because he made training fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But also that squad at the time at Brisbane was phenomenal.
That was a top tier squad.
Top team. Like before COVID.
Yeah.
Like with like you had Brad Inman, Aiden O'Neill, Tom Aldred, Jay O'Shea, probably one of the best midfielders I've seen. At the A-League level for sure. Jack Inget, Corey Brown, Jamie Young, all these boys, top team.
Fuck.
I was happy sitting behind
actually-
Jay O'Shea and Aiden O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
They're better than me.
You're gonna
Well,
learn,
young
and
as
you're gonna
well,
learn
like
so much.
23.
I think it was like 22 or something, 22,
Yeah.
23, and for me it was good to learn. And Aiden O'Neill's a year younger than me,
Wow.
Oh wow.
but he was miles ahead. Physically, like, just did the basics so well all the time, so fit as well. So I understood as well, like, the good thing with me, I'm very self-aware. Like, if someone's ahead of me, I'll go and appreciate that. And I'll go,
Yeah.
okay, he deserves to be playing. So I'm never, like, unreasonable in my thinking and thinking I should play over him. Never been that way.
Yeah. Like you'll accept
I get
defeat.
football. Like I get it. Like when someone's good or when someone deserves to play. But I'm the opposite as well in the sense of if I think I should be playing,
You're going to speak up. Yeah.
I'll say it. And like with the situation with South, I don't agree with their thought process. I said it. I said it in the room. I'm not saying it just here to you now. I said it to them in the room.
Yeah.
I didn't say it so nicely, but
Yeah, of course.
like,
Yeah, but
that's how I've been growing up. Like with my time overseas, being in professional environments, that's how I've been brought up to see football. Like, just be honest about it and hit it on the head, and then you can be friends after.
Hold on. Oh,
Yeah.
because I wanted to ask. So, you were saying that, like, the responses that you're giving us now is the same sort of responses that you gave to them when they put it to you that, like, we don't really want you here anymore, basically, yeah?
Yeah.
What was their response back?
Yeah. Jesus. It's remembering conversation. I don't like to put words in people's mouths.
No,
so I
of
want to
course.
be very careful how I put it.
But was it like, did they understand? Or
Yeah, no, like they sort of alluded to the fact that they didn't think I was sort of fit enough, right? And
because it would be not fair
I'm sorry, but I can't fucking. I've been around football my entire life, and I genuinely, to the life of me, right now, I'm sitting here fucking fuming.
yeah.
I can't fathom it.
I offered to get out my running stats in front of them, and they said no.
Okay.
I can't understand
Which
it,
is
bro.
why, like,
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
I've
no,
got
that's
them on
it.
my phone. Like from the last 2 league games I played for them, I think I'm top in distance and top 3 in high speed meters, which is actually uncommon for me
Well,
because I usually just play at one pace.
man, you don't even need to give them that. You're the top goal contributor.
Well, I think that's where I add value, right? My argument was no one's ever signed George Mells for his physical.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely
And
not.
If you have, I've got to say,
Wrong guy.
you're not-
yeah,
you're
wrong
not
guy.
seeing football
You've got the wrong
correctly.
George Mells.
No, but like the way a lot of managers who have worked with me, let's say at this level, so you look at like maybe like an Adam Pidik or Zoki Markovsky, right? Or even an Esteban as well. You have me for moments in a game, right? It's one ball that unlocks a defense or one ball falling to the edge of the box and I clean it up or something. Or you get me to dictate the pace of the game, right? You're not getting me there to win second balls and
Yeah, no.
and butcher people in tackles, right?
That's on you.
No, I have people around me to do that. That's the beauty of me. Like,
Straight up.
I'll be honest with you, at Port Melbourne was Ross Archibald. Ross Archibald was around me winning second balls, headbutting people, doing all sorts. Yeah, he'd be there with 3 bandages. I look like my socks haven't even run. But
You're the pretty footballer.
I'd affect the game in a different way. I don't know, it sounds funny when I say it like that.
No,
but ultimately, that's the truth.
but they're legitimate.
Yeah, they're legitimate.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can see that in teams. Most teams have that player. He's not going to win the second ball, but once you win the second ball, give him the ball.
Yeah, no, and that's how it was at Port.
Straight
And
up.
then I think at Avondale we had so many talented players who could do multiple things. But again, it was a privileged position because I had, like, geez, where do you even start? Like, I had Joey Katabia next to me, doing a lot of dirty work. I had Ute Towns.
Yep.
I could just roll the ball into Christian Jajeski. When I didn't need to do something, he would do it. Yeah, the front line options was just you lift your head. You had Xander Guy one wing, Zinni one the other way. You had Yusuf Ahmed through the middle. We had George Ott coming off the bench. So that situation again was different, but sort of similar in the way as well. Where you just had so many talented players. So I feel like what I'm sort of learning to when I had managers who knew how to utilize me, I always had success everywhere.
Yeah, all right.
Even at Adelaide, as a young kid, I was 18. when we won the title that year, I actually played a lot of games, like for a young kid. You know, I think I
Did
started.
you play at Adelaide? Was it 18 games total?
I think this season, I think I played 24 games or something, and there was like 14 starts.
Yep, that's
and
it.
then like 10 off the bench or something.
Wow.
Again, for 18, probably at that time as well, not many young kids were playing that time.
Not really, no.
There's only a few around the league, like I think it was Alex Gershbach at Sydney was one of them. Steve Kuzminowski at Melbourne City, and Liam Rose at Central Coast.
Kuzi.
Kuzi, yeah. Kuzi was top talent, and there weren't many at that time. And I think the minutes I got in that year, and the way that manager, Guillermo Moore, the way he utilised me, and he gave me a lot of self-belief to actually believe that I was a good footballer. Like, I knew coming from England and playing those Premier League academies that I had talent and things like that, but Guillermo really believed that I was a top footballer. And he was actually a manager that used to compliment me on my work rate.
Yeah.
He always used to tell me, like, he goes, the way you work around a football pitch and the distances you cover, he could sort of see through, like, what people here can't see. Like, people always used to say to me, like, the worst thing you did was come back to Australia. Worst thing. You don't suit the style here. Like, people that understood football, they always say, like, you're wasting your time coming back here.
What is our style perceived as from overseas?
I think what overseas clubs really love about the Aussie players is their work rate.
Yeah.
They're runners.
It's just like up and down. Like, even watching NPL, like
They run.
I literally saw two people crash into each other the other day, like rugby tackle style. They bounce off the ground, they get up, they start running again. Overseas, they'll have to get the stretchers out.
Yeah,
I feel like that's almost our biggest strength and weakness here is that we don't have footballers. We don't have basketballers. We've got athletes.
Yeah.
Like everyone's athletes.
They're rugby players.
And it's-
that's what
They're
Australia.
straight up,
And
they're
it's-
dog workers.
And it's good because like there's not many countries I feel like across the world where you can be a gun footballer, you can be a gun basketball player, and you can be a gun rugby player, for example. Like we're generalizing a little bit, but like you're either one or the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Whereas
yeah.
I know, and you'd probably see this from kids, and we're digressing a bit here. I know from when I was coaching, you would have a player that couldn't make training tonight because I've got basketball.
The other one's
And
got
then
cricket. The other one's got footy.
Someone's
as soon as
swimming.
the soccer season's
Swimming.
done, I've got this. And then I also played footy. Like I played AFL at school.
Yeah.
So like, there was always options there.
Growing up here, you're like your sport for choice, and it's like the headline to try every sport.
Yeah.
Whereas in Europe, it's go to football. You're playing football. That is
Yeah,
it.
but like you can tell as well just by like the builds. Like look at the way players here are built, A-League or NPL, compared to the top leagues over there and their second divisions. They look completely
Well,
different.
that was the conversation they were having in Suited and Booted. Are Australian players too top heavy?
Yeah,
They were saying, are
We-
Australian players
we
too
lack-
top heavy?
It's hard. We lack like flair here. Like
100% flair.
we lack creativity.
bad.
That's why when one comes through, that's a bit different over the years. Like, let's just look at like Azani, for example.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize how good he was. Right. But again, like we will rubbish kids like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we'd rather rubbish than like sort of. I know he was on that pedestal for a bit because people couldn't ignore him at one point.
Yeah, exactly
He made
right.
Socceroos, played World Cup, but as soon as it takes a turn that way,
Yeah.
people were like, "Yeah, he's rubbish. Doesn't work hard. Bad attitude."
Aaron Kunda's lucky he left.
Yeah, like it's always there's always a narrative here. There's always like anyone that comes through, like because he's got a bit of flair, yeah, must have a bad attitude.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a losing
Give me a
battle.
break, man. Give me a break. Yes, the kid likes to wear his Rolex. Who cares?
yeah.
Who
Exactly.
cares? Who
That is-
cares if he gets a haircut once a week? Like here, it's the thinking is so
Too
bad.
many opinions.
Oh my god, it kills you here. Like you can't do anything. If I'm composed on the ball, I'm lazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Are we serious? I'm playing the same game as you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I've copped this my whole career only in Australia though. Only Australia. And like I said, I'm comfortable now, so I'm happy to talk about these things because I don't care about progressing my career. Like
Yeah.
I'll kick around the NPL until I'm good and ready, and then I'll start focusing full time on the academy.
And then when you
things
finished
like
from
that.
the NPL, do you remember
Oh my-
which team you said you were going to play
It
for?
was 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Is it?
So I'll be managing.
So guess
I'll be managing George.
guess
That's
what?
mad.
It depends. Guess what the title of that one is? George Mells Suns for 1-0 FC.
You're a
Everyone
joke.
blows their minds.
Like,
South
George
Melbourne-
Mells comes home.
South Melbourne.
George Mells comes home.
South Melbourne are
Is the kid
freaking
still
out.
going to be like this?
Bro, 100%. Bro, it'll be 1-0 Ellis.
Nah, I'm gonna do blue and white stripes. Just
Oh, crazy.
Melzy, let's take it back. Where did it all start for you? Where did football?
So, I'll take you to like the beginning, but there won't be many details that I could probably even remember about it. But my first junior,
You could barely remember a conversation that happened like 3 weeks
I
ago.
know, I know. Trust me, it annoys my wife. Like little details,
Little details, yeah.
stories.
oh,
Like, what do you say? Like, this is like 4 hours ago. I'll be like,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, yeah, good. Thanks yourself. Like, I won't. It's hard for me to remember things, but I played for Brunswick City growing up. Brunswick
Crazy.
City, a little bit at Hume City, Richmond for a season,
Richmond.
Well,
Random
Richmond.
That's-
and then
Old school.
that was about
Straight out.
11, and then I was overseas.
And
after
then
that.
where was it to overseas?
I was supposed to sign at Reading,
Okay.
in London as well, but I went there. Like, a guy was out here on holiday, and he was doing some coaching for like academy thing, skills program. And he saw me playing, and his dad was a scout at Reading. And he phoned his old man. He said, "Listen, I've seen this kid here." He goes, "He could definitely, match it over there."
Mm.
So the plan was just send me over there, go for trial, whatever.
So this is at like 11 years old.
Yeah, I think I was 10 at that time, but by
Well-
the time I went over, I was 11. So I went over the first time at 11, and I stayed with this guy's family for a month, right? And my mum came with me, just my mum and myself. So we went over there, and it was funny because like I was still jet lagged, but they're like, "Look, just go into the training ground ready. Your age group isn't there. Just go train with like the under 14s, I think it was, or 13s."
Yep.
And
Juice.
I actually like went there and I did well.
Oh, yeah.
And then they started going, like, they've basically got a freak on their hands here. Like, if he's doing this with the 14s. So I only lasted like 2 sessions there. And then the family I was with, they knew another scout at Chelsea. And they were like, let's see if Chelsea will take him.
Jeez.
I did one session at Chelsea. And I remember my first training. First time I got the ball, we did like this little game scenario. And the coach of that age group was Michael Bill, who I think he's coached at Rangers, coached at QPR, he's done Liverpool's academy, Chelsea's academy. He was assistant coach at Sao Paulo in Brazil.
Crazy.
Big coach, yeah.
Wow.
Like
Good
obviously,
CV.
I think he was the Rangers coach when Andrew was the Celtic coach.
Oh,
Around that era.
well.
Yeah, so obviously it was really hard for him because Andrew's winning everything.
Yeah,
with Celtic.
exactly.
But he was probably the best, junior manager I had.
Mm.
And I remember the session, and it's funny because it's a name drop as well. But I remember it clear as day. I got a pass received into me. I turned without even looking, and this is when I realized I'm not at like this little baby level anymore. Like I'm playing with basically young men.
Yeah.
And was this at Chelsea? Was this under 14s?
No, this is back in my own age group. This was
Okay.
12s.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it was like the end of under 11s.
End of under, and it's not baby group
No, it's
anymore.
not baby football, man.
Okay.
You see the size of some of these kids?
Jeez.
Ola Aina plays
Yeah.
at Forest.
Oh yeah.
Ola Aina just comes out of nowhere, man. Poof. And I did like 3 rolls on the ground.
Oh wow.
hilarious.
And I remember,
That's so funny.
best part about it, there was like some parents on the side, they were laughing at me
Oh, shit.
from the team. Because they're thinking this kid from Australia,
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah,
they
yeah,
could
yeah.
care less about me, man. They
Nah.
want me to go pack my bags and go.
Yeah.
Were there many international kids at academies at that time?
Yeah,
Like, is that
Chelsea,
a
yeah.
common thing? Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea there was. We had a few in our team. We had French, South Korean, African boys,
Most of the academies are
French.
like not just English based.
The top ones are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The ones sort of a bit lower to mid,
Yeah,
they're all
they
English
stick
boys.
to their
You might
locals.
have 1 or 2,
Yeah.
Mm.
but like Chelsea, Arsenal, like those ones, Man City.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
be mixed
Yeah.
from top to bottom.
Yeah. Quickly off topic,
Yeah.
just because it's come to mind. Why do we not have Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City? I mean, I know City's
Funding,
sort
bro.
of doing it.
It's funding.
Like, why do we not have under 9 Melbourne Victory teams or under
Funding.
10?
They
Melbourne
don't
Victory
do
teams?
that young yet, but they're starting to do, I think, like 11s, 12s,
Yeah.
and stuff like that
Yeah.
now.
They're trying to. They're
But
attempting.
City
yeah.
have got them. I
City,
think.
so City do. So we played like the academy team yesterday played against Melbourne City under 11s
Oh, wow.
in this competition. that they have. It's called the Junior Champions League, right? And it's like midweek games, so they try and copy that Champions League concept.
Yeah.
Which is actually, it's a great initiative for the kids. It's a good tournament.
Casey's great. No, who'd you play the other week? Southern United. Southern United. I was at the one where they played
You're
at
at
Southern
Southern's
United
ground.
ground,
Yeah.
and I was doing content for the JCL. And I tell you what, it's actually like if I was good enough as a kid, I'd want to play for that.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
it's
no,
like-
it's one of the best things you can go to as a kid. Like they
Seriously.
do so it's like the JCL, which is like the mid season one, and it's like all during the middle of the week, so it doesn't disrupt your weekend game. And then they do like this other one in preseason and then postseason, like Junior Academy League, and it's literally just the best of the best from like 8s to like 12s, 13s,
That's mad.
and they do this like mad competition.
Fuck, we missed out on some good things here.
It's good now, man.
Straight out.
They've got more now than what we did.
100%.
Yeah.
Like you almost now don't even need to go overseas.
No,
Like now, 'cause
you'd
there's
rather stay.
There's a lot of good guys like starting like these academies and things, and there's some good junior programs at clubs already as well.
So I think we spoke about this a while ago, and you'd be the better person to say to. Like, I was at Box Hill from under 9s to 13s, so I peaked at probably 11. But I'm looking at these kids playing in these tournaments now,
They're a joke.
like
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Joke.
And like,
honestly, yeah.
I played with Geordie Valadon under 10s, and like he was the best player in the team. But like, with love, he was nowhere near as good as these kids that I'm
Yeah.
seeing now. And, like under
There are
10s,
kids at
11s,
like under 9s, under 10s training 5 days a week.
like
Bro,
they're
doing
Playing 2
step
games a
overs
week.
and body
Yeah.
feints and knocking kids off the ball, and
It's
I'm like,
insane.
I was still scoring on goals when I was like 9 years old.
Yeah.
No, we see some freaks when we played against some this season where you just like looking at them and you're thinking, nah, man.
Yeah, it can't be.
Like, there's no way you're 10 years old.
Yeah, and the thing is, and the truth is, most of the time they are like they're that age and they're just that good, and that's just the reality
Sick,
of it.
man.
And
It's so sick.
yeah,
Are you confident with the junior pathway that's available now than compared to when you were obviously making the move to England?
it's hard to say because there's just so many clubs just in Victoria. You don't know who's doing what.
Yeah, so many clubs, so many academies.
If you're going to align yourself with someone who's maybe played the game, it's even then like you could like there's enough good people around. You've got like I like to think I'm on the right page and on the right sort of way of I'm just copying what happened overseas. So I'm not inventing anything new. So anyone that's with me, that's what I tell them.
Yep.
They like my style of coaching, great. I'm just doing what I was taught. That's it. And I'm sure
It's
all
good
the
you're
other
just using
boys
your experience
who
instead
have
of
their
using a
academies
coaching manual.
are doing the
What
same
else could you
thing.
do? That's the
So-
smartest thing.
But as touching back on the Chelsea story with Ola. So when
Yeah.
Ola knocked me over and I did those like 3 balls in the ground, the next time I got the ball, he came again and I did like a little Maradona spin, chipped the ball to the back post, and someone headed the ball in. And I swear to you, from that moment, they got me and my mum up in the office at Cobham. And I'm going to use Cobham as a reference because everyone knows Cobham.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, straight
Every
up.
podcast around, anyone has anyone on, they say Cobham, they start freaking out. 'Cause it's like
That's mental.
It's like the place where all the talent has been produced.
100%.
Right?
Cobham
And
Academy
it's
player.
true.
Yeah.
Spend time at Cobham, your life changes.
Really?
Yeah, your life changes because you walk through those doors and you realize that football, there isn't a limit sometimes. There's a place that you can go that's like, just has no limits, and that's Cobham. And I was lucky, I can honestly say, I was there in the best era of Cobham of all time. The players that I saw, like,
Name drop.
Yeah, name drop some.
I named the older kids at the time who were closest to the first team,
Yeah.
and like the best player I've ever seen at a youth level, was Josh McEachran. People won't know who he is. Look at Josh McEachran. He was in the fringes of the senior team when Carlo Ancelotti was the manager.
Oh,
when
wow.
you had like Lampard, Mikael Ballack, Essien, like proper ballers, and he was getting in and playing in Champions League games, Cup games, some Premier League games. And I seen this kid, I think he's playing under 18s at the time. Youth Cup final against Aston Villa. The amount of disgustingness I saw him do in that game with the ball, it was like
It was magic.
He's left-footed. I thought this guy's got to be like Maradona levels. Like it was ridiculous. And for people that know Josh McEachran, they'll be sitting there when they see this and they go 100%.
Is he English?
Yeah, just career ruined. Got loaned out,
No.
injuries.
Well, Chelsea sort of have that reputation.
sounds like a
I don't
Chelsea
know
thing
as
to
much
do.
now, but like, you know, there was all those things of like Chelsea would loan
They
out
had 40
17
players
players.
on loan at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like someone like him was just a ridiculous man. Like Nathaniel Chalaba.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Disgustingness.
After one game, I was playing under 14s. He come up to me. And he goes, honestly, I've been watching you the last couple of weeks. He goes, you've been phenomenal. When he said that to me, I nearly started crying because I knew how good he was.
Wow.
Honestly.
crazy.
And his brother Trevor played in our ages. But like he said that to me, I almost started crying because I'm like Nathaniel Chalaba, man. He was like a god for me.
Straight out.
And
That's sick.
Like the boys that we played with, man, just coming through. It's just Declan Rice, Mason Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Fakayo Tomori. These are big ballers.
Wow, man.
And it would make you, when you're surrounded by that, like, you know, you say that about what Chalaba said and how it made you feel. Like, I could only imagine you just wanted to get better if you're playing in that environment and with those players.
You had such drive to be better, and you're almost desperate to do anything to stay in that environment.
Wow.
You know, and like I said, being there, that's why my outlook on football is the way it is. It's because of Cobham. Like, honestly, the people that you saw and you met there, like, and you had an appreciation for what was actually quality, right, in football, and what the standard is, and how football should be perceived, and your mentality as a footballer, everything. Like, I remember, like, we used to take a couple of days off school a week to go into Chelsea and train. It was called, like, day release.
Yep.
Certain ages would go in. And you'd sort of have to do your schoolwork there, but you do all your training there for the day. You stay in a hotel. They bring you back like a minibus. It's like proper,
sick.
you know. And I remember one time, because you eat lunch at the club, you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything all there. I'm sitting there. I've had my lunch, bring it to the table, meeting, and I remember this is one story I'll never forget ever in my life. Sat there, and I see a guy sitting next to me, and I only caught a little bit of the top that he was wearing. I didn't really look. I just saw someone sitting next to me. I was like, here's what it is. But I saw the top he was wearing was gold. And like the gold top was only for the senior players. When they had Champions League, they'd wear the gold training kit for the whole week.
Wow.
Right? And I went like that. And then I looked again because I was like, fuck, it's a gold kit. I looked. It's Frank Lampard.
Oh my
Just
God.
sit next to you, have lunch.
He goes, yeah, you're right, mate. Like this. And sat there and just started eating his lunch. And I was like,
How old are you?
I was 13 probably.
Jeez.
You're right, mate. From Frank Lampard.
Yeah,
And
I'd
I
be
was like
like,
this. I was like this. Hey, Frank, how are you? It's like,
Wow.
it was amazing. And we got a photo about age group that was there at the time. We got a photo with him after. But it was just common to see these guys. Like, it was, people think like it's far-fetched or it's like bullshit or whatever, but it was weird. Like, you could be training and then like Drogba would be doing laps around your field because he'd be doing like a recovery and he'd just go for a jog around the training pitches.
So I'd be starting to
One
ping
time,
balls and stuff.
I kid you not, swear to God, one time I was training,
Baz has lost his
nighttime
mind.
session, Carlo Ancelotti is in like those big puffer jackets, hood up.
Tell me he's smoking a ciggy.
He wasn't, but he came up to our academy coach, he said, can I take training for a bit? And he took a passing drill for us. It's just things like that. Like, you don't expect, because you think these guys are big time, but they're actually not. The ones who
They're
are
people.
like, the ones who are actually at that level, they're not big time.
they're just football people.
true.
Wow.
They're
I'm
just
being
there.
honest with you.
They're
Like,
training.
They're like just good through and through, and there's just so many like flashpoints I could have, and it was just you had so many good experiences. I had a boy living next to me. He played in the 21/senior team. He's a Dutch left back, Patrick Vanhoff.
Oh yeah, I remember. He was at
Van Arnold, yeah.
Vanhoff, gun.
Yeah,
Palace,
straight out.
man.
Straight out gun.
Yeah.
Was it
He went to
Palace?
Palace. Yeah.
Yeah, went to Palace.
Is that Palace? Yeah.
Proper good player. Like I remember him coming, like when he was going on loan. I think he left. He was going back to Holland or something, and he bought me a stack of these Nike boots, like, and just gave them to me. It's like 6 pairs in boxes, not even touched. He goes, "Here, have them." He goes, "You can go to waste." He goes, "Have them." And once my feet grew, I wore them.
That's
Oh,
mad.
wow.
Yeah, and you don't forget things like that.
Nah,
Yeah.
100%.
He didn't have to do that.
Yeah, not at all.
I think that's
He
the
didn't have
thing.
to do that. He knocked on my door. I remember he even offered to take me out a few times with mates, this and that. And I was only like 13. My dad's like, "Hey,
like, relax.
But it's memories like that. It's memories like that always stay with me. Even like one time, Abramovich on his helicopter, right? Now listen, we're training. We get a call like to like clear the field quickly. This bloke lands his helicopter in the middle of training. Cones are flying everywhere. He gets out of his helicopter for 3 minutes, talks to someone, gets back and goes. But all of our stuff, equipment, balls are flying
That's
everywhere.
hilarious.
Oh,
because of
wow.
the helicopter.
And who's gonna tell him, "Hey, don't do it"?
Yeah, like,
No,
hey,
exactly.
go to the other pitch. Like, what are you
Nah,
doing?
and you got
Abramovich.
guys with like trench coaches with him. Like,
Yeah,
You
100%.
know, he's the owner of your club. It's like, you know.
Yeah, he was a god.
Yeah, he's here.
wild.
That's mental.
I was there on the day when Torres signed
Oh
for
wow.
£50 million.
Jesus.
I remember it. That was one of the days we were off school.
Still saddest day of
And
my
then we're
life.
watching the helicopter again come into one of the fields, drops him off. Everyone's just losing it. And in the British media at that time, that was the biggest transfer. I think it might be the British transfer record at the time.
at
Yeah,
the
it
time
was. Yeah.
For the
And,
Premier League, yeah.
Like I saw a lot of good things, man. I saw a lot of things. You get chances to be like a ball boy on match day. So all the ball boys you see at Stanford Bridge,
Yeah.
All the academy boys.
Academy,
Yeah.
yeah.
they are academy
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
That sounds so obvious, but I've never thought or wondered
Yeah,
that.
it's
Yeah.
Oh,
the
really?
academy boys.
That
yeah.
would that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I did a Champions League game once against Marseille.
No way.
Yeah, incredible.
At Stanford Bridge.
At Stanford Bridge, yeah.
That's
Nuts.
mental.
That's
Marseille fans were ridiculous.
French fans in general.
Yeah,
are cool.
French fans are
Yeah.
nuts.
Nuts, bro. The atmosphere was crazy.
Scared?
It was crazy. Scary, bro.
Yeah.
Scary. You don't want to be sitting the ball boy in front of them.
No way.
You get
Nah.
spit on, you'll get like...
Yeah, no
confident.
way.
you-
That's mental.
it was-
You're a kid, they don't care.
yeah. No, they don't. They don't give a shit. They
That's
don't give a shit.
wild.
They've got kids there doing it as well. And they don't give a shit at all.
I love that Ancelotti story because it's something so little. We're like, he's probably done that so many times. For him now, if you
And he
told
would've
us,
been
he'd be
young
like,
as
I
well.
didn't know I did that.
Yeah.
You know? But like, all it is a passing drill,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what 14 years later, the
realise
smile
at
you
the
had on
time.
on your
No,
face
you
when you
don't.
said that story.
Bro.
You don't realize at the time, like when you're a kid and it comes up, you know it's a first team manager and that, and you're buzzing off that. You don't realize like the man won things as a player. The man's one of the greatest managers of all time. And since my time at Cobham, he's won so much more.
So much
Exactly
more.
Look
right.
how many Champions Leagues he won at Real Madrid and stuff like that. Don't be right, he wasn't my coach.
No.
But he coached me for like 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever.
But still,
it was,
it's
passing
something.
you. But that was an experience for me. That was an eye opener for me to be like, wow, these are levels you could be at. You can keep going, you can progress, but ultimately, like, you have to be so good.
That meeting in the office that they told you to go up. What was that? What was it about?
Which one?
When they told, did they tell you and your mum to go up to the office?
Yeah. So after that first session,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was literally they made us sign a paper basically saying I couldn't trial anywhere else in England.
Ah.
Wow.
So from
They
there, I was
locked you
locked
in.
into Chelsea, and they had the choice whether they want to sign me after that.
Okay.
And how long did you spend at Chelsea?
Total.
Total.
2.5 seasons.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, 2.5 seasons.
All right. So yeah, Chelsea and then Southampton.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the differences with academies?
So the main difference between the two, so Chelsea is winners, and Southampton is nurturing talent. Okay.
Okay.
So I always stand by the fact that I had the best education in football. Education, not best career, education. Why? I learned how to win and what it meant to be a winner, but I also learned how to develop as a footballer.
Well,
Right. So Southampton are the best at, not now, but back then, at getting academy graduates into the senior squad.
Straight out there.
And when I was there, you saw James Ward-Prowse, Luke Shaw, Callum Chambers, Harrison Reed, Lloyd Isgrove, who's at him now.
they had that really good patch
Yeah.
of
where that Southampton team, like the players, they were like the Brighton almost of what
Yep,
they
They were
are.
brilliant, man.
Yeah.
They were the team that Liverpool rated every season.
Yeah.
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 Southampton and Stoke.
They just got
I got so lucky with these things, man. Like, I just ended up going to the places at the right time. Like, I remember my first week at Southampton that I signed. That's when Oxlade-Chamberlain got sold to Arsenal.
No way.
yeah. So he has another player too. Yeah.
I
True.
seen him in the car park as he was leaving, and he was fuming. Fuming.
Really?
Yeah, because at that point, they weren't letting him leave,
Yeah,
and he wanted to leave.
of course.
And his dad was his agent. I remember just chucking stuff in his car. Yeah, man. I didn't have a clue who he was, by the way.
No, no way.
Not a clue.
Wow.
But then after, when it came, I was like, geez, I was like Chamberlain. You know, and, you know, his career went like that after, which
Yeah,
was brilliant
Champions
for
League,
him.
Liverpool.
But, yeah, like, just, Southampton was different. Like, I was probably, went from, like, one of, like, the mid-range players at Chelsea in my age group to being, like, the best player
Yeah.
at Southampton in my age group.
How old were you there?
I think I was, like, 15.
15.
So you done 15. You done
15,
To
16,
16s.
2s and 18s.
2s and 18s.
What's that like for a 15-year-old in that environment to go from, like you said, like, you know, you're a sort of middle grade player at Chelsea to now being the best? Did that? I mean, you're 15, like as you're a kid. Do you go there like, oh, I've got this under wraps now? Like, I'm playing for Southampton, I'm the best one in the team, or is it still the same mindset?
I think I expected like that would be probably the stronger players on there, just because of where I'd been. Like for example, I'll give you an example how that actually came about. Me going there. So Michael Bill, the coach at Chelsea, he sat down with me at the end of under 14s, and he was like, "You will never play senior football here." He goes, and he had this chat with a lot of foreigners who came over, and his encouragement is to go play for a club that's a little bit under Chelsea, develop, and try and get into their senior team.
Off.
Smart.
Because even the top English boys at Chelsea, many of them didn't even have a career at Chelsea. Like this boy, Josh McEachran, you guys didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, he was the best of the bunch. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek, for example, did actually play some games for Chelsea. Probably got a bit luckier because that was the Lampard era, where he was playing like Mason Mount and boys like that.
Yeah.
So it's obviously...
But even still, wasn't like, it's obviously not there now.
No, and it's hard to maintain, right?
Yeah.
Because they just churn through so many players, right? So I guess the point is making is like go somewhere you can sort of make a name for yourself, stand out, be sort of that vocal point, and see what can happen. And initially at Southampton, that was pretty much the case. Yeah, for the first 2 or 3 years, I was probably highly regarded. Everything was on track the way it was supposed to, and then what happened is they started becoming like a big club almost, like in the Premier League. Like they survived the Premier League. They went from survival to like top 8, and then it was like all of a sudden Virgil van Dijk's walking through the door. So the season I left was Ronald Koeman came in.
Yeah.
So it was after Mauricio Pochettino left.
Yeah.
And I was lucky I was training sort of like 23s, trained a couple times with the seniors, so Premier League.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was 16.
Fucking hell.
First time I trained with them.
So you had like Andy Carroll and all that there.
No, it wasn't. It was like, who was there at the time? Adam Lallana
Yeah.
was there. He was club captain.
Yeah.
Dejan Lovren.
Yeah.
Morgan Schneidlin.
Mm.
Wow.
Ricky
Nathaniel
Lambert.
Klein, Luke Shaw. James Ward-Prowse. Ricky Lambert.
Mm.
Dude, I totally forgot about this Southampton.
Wow, this Southampton
Yeah, right,
team was-
yeah.
Nah,
and
they were
at-
nuts. And Pochettino was good, man.
Sure.
At
Yeah, it was.
16
I
years
was
old.
lucky. I used to clean his office. Yeah. So so when you're a young academy graduate, you get a job to do.
100%.
And I had 2 jobs. One was I had to change like on the medical beds in the physio room, on one of the physio rooms, change like the linens.
Yeah.
You know, like at the end of each day, just basically put him in, take him to the kit man, and he will do it.
Yeah.
And the other one was cleaning the manager's office, so like sweep up, vacuum, whatever, and he had to take his bin out.
Mm.
But it was good because that means you'd catch him at some point.
Yeah.
And he always talk to you. Just ask you, how's your game on the weekend? And then it came to you, like, he'd come watch you. Because he's like, oh, I know this kid. I'm going to go, like, he'll be walking around the training ground.
That's my cleaner.
I was lucky. Like,
So that was sick.
I scored,
that's good,
I
yeah.
scored in front of him. There was this goal that I scored against Norwich. I think it was under 16s or... No, it was under 18s, but it was my first year in 18, so I'd be like an under 17.
Yeah.
And then I trained with him, like, once. And then was mainly training for 23s. And then the season finished, and then Koeman came in because Poch went to Tottenham, and Koeman came in, and then the club just changed, bro.
Yeah.
Van Dijk walks through, Sadio Mane is there, like, and then you sort of had to make a decision. Then it's like you realize quickly the club was becoming that big, where even us academy boys weren't going to come through.
No, yeah.
You know, and the top one could tell you is Lloyd Isgrove. Yeah, he's at Hume now.
Yeah.
But he would tell you how good the level was. Like he was there in the first team playing, like training. He played Premier League games.
Yeah, yeah.
The level just went.
It started
changed.
skyrocketing.
He did, yeah.
It
yeah.
did.
Koeman did change that team.
So then you had to sort of start thinking like, what do you do next? Like, and from there, I left Southampton. I had a Dutch agent at the time, but we're comfortable that I find a club. So it's like just leave there, terminate. Spent time at Feyenoord in Holland.
Well,
Spent time at Olympiacos, and it was sort of like trying to see which move would fit best. And I got so unlucky, man. So unlucky from there. Like honestly, what occurred then to what happened after, like that's why my career either went one way or the other.
yeah.
Mm.
And
I went to Feyenoord.
Yeah.
And again, really good because I had that physicality that the Dutch boys didn't have. Because come from England, it's different, right?
Yeah.
Like you just add it all the time in England. Like technically you can be good in England, but if you've got that physicality, like you're gonna stand out.
Yeah, yeah.
And then going to Holland, you're especially gonna stand out because they're all about technical ability. If you're physically strong, can move around the field, and you're technically good, you stand out a lot. So
For sure.
Feyenoord were really impressed, really, really impressed. And the issue I had there, they're not big on foreigners there.
Yeah.
They love their Dutch boys.
100%.
Yep.
They want to produce their own, which is actually a good way to look at it, right? They're like, even if I was miles ahead of one boy, or let's say not even miles ahead. Let's say I was a little bit better than him, right? But I'm better than him. Like, nah.
They'd rather him
He's
his
Dutch.
Dutch.
Let's-
Let's produce this guy to be just as good as this guy.
100%.
Yep.
Which is fair enough.
So the age group coach that I had there, he really wanted to sign me. He took a huge liking to me.
This was still 23s, 20s?
Nah. This is back my own age. This was like 19s.
19s. Okay.
But I was like 17, so not
Yeah,
really my own
yeah,
age, but like
yeah.
more close to
Yeah,
my
yeah,
age.
yeah.
They want to sign me. They said, we're going to sign you. I was like, brilliant. I was catching a train to Amsterdam. I was with my old man, and we're going to just go out for the day, enjoy, celebrate, sort of thing. Anyway, I remember the agent called, and he's like, because what are you guys doing? He goes, oh, we're going to Amsterdam. They're going to sign me. He goes, what? Because they didn't even tell me. And like, he's like the agent of that club.
Oh, wow.
And he had like Horty Classy, who was the midfielder there, captain, and I think he got him a deal at Southampton.
Yeah.
He's like, crazy, that's unbelievable, it's what we wanted. Anyway, 2 days later, like everything like it just shattered. So the sporting director, who manages mainly the senior squad, but he's got the say of everything, found out that the academy wants to sign this Australian kid. And he's like, no, without even looking at me.
Wow.
He goes,
What?
Nope, no chance. And they're like, really, just like that, it's done? Mate, just like, yeah, man. Because when this guy says it's done, man. And all of a sudden, like, you go from here, and you're feeling like just down here.
Wow.
It's the worst experience of my life.
So in the space of 48 hours, it was
Gone.
signing for
Just
Feyenoord
gone.
and then gone.
Gone. Just like that.
It would have been a shit day in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just gone. Exactly like that. And Olympiacos, this is under a different agent, right?
Mm.
There's a part of SEG, big agency in Europe. So their Greek agent there, he took me to Olympiacos for like two weeks. I was there. They were doing their like it was like an end of season like sort of camp.
Yeah.
And for their 19s, that's their Champions League team as well. Because you know like the Youth Champions League.
Yeah.
So the 19s of those clubs play in the Youth Champions League. So that's what I was going for. Like that's what I was there sort of trialing for. And I actually remember the conversation. I was one of the young ones. I was 17. And after my 2 weeks, the technical director sat down with me and he goes, my English isn't great, but he goes, but I'll do everything in English. And he goes, from a technical standpoint, he goes, you're the most perfect player we have. He goes, everything from your first touch to the way you drill a pass in. It was a lot of good momentum for me around that because we played against like a senior team in the second division. So we're under 19s Olympiacos. We played against a senior team and we won 1-0. And I played and I scored. It was like a cross that came in and trapped it on my chest and finished bottom corner of my left foot.
Yeah.
We won the game 1-0. And like the Greek media picked up on it. And it just went all over, like newspapers,
Wow.
media. Agent was copying phone calls after phone calls. So I think what happened, then he found out I had this conversation with the technical director. So he got a bit excited, right? And by this stage, I knew I was going to go back to Australia for my holidays because it was the end of the season, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, like when you have that conversation that they're like definitely going to sign you, there's no way they don't sign you after that, right?
Yeah.
And the guy said to me, he goes, we will definitely take you and sign you. 100% done. 1 week goes past in Australia. 2 weeks goes past. I'm not hearing anything. I'm saying like to my old man, like we've got problems here, man. Like
Yeah.
this club that wants you that bad, it's done in 2-3 days. Like I know when things happen quick, they happen quick. And like when someone wants you, it just happens. And then couldn't get a hold of the agent. So we find another agent to go find out what's happened.
Yeah.
Because he knew someone at the club. He goes, bro, your agent asked these guys for 50,000 euros.
Oh my.
Not for you
days.
or for
him.
For him.
For us.
As a signing thing. Because he got excited. He started seeing the media outlets with Mells, this and that.
Thought he was going to
And
buy
he's
in.
thinking, oh, Greek national team, Olympiacos, this is crazy. Like, because I've got a Greek passport as well. So I could play for Greece. I played for the 17s.
No way.
So he's thinking like,
I'm cashing in.
Like cashing in. He killed the whole deal. So these guys just said, nah, like stuff, yo. What, we're not going to sign him now. You stuffed it for him. We'll find another one of him.
Oh my God.
Oh well.
Brilliant, huh?
Oh,
That's-
I'll tell you another one.
that's
If you
right.
want to hear luck, I go back to Holland now. Sparta Rotterdam,
Mm.
right? I'm with them. Now, at that time, in the 19s team, because like financially they're a little bit of a different situation. They're not a massive club. They only had like 2-3 players on a contract. Like they were earning money each month, and one of them was Denzel Dumfries.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. I know. The amount of people I've come across in my career is just nuts.
Yeah.
And
If any of these guys want to come on the pod, just
Yeah.
let us know.
they wouldn't even recognize me. You know who I am.
Do you see, just like off topic, do you see some of these faces like that you've come across on TV, like Champions League finals, whatever, and just be like, bro, what? Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
like we were in the same squad this time and this
Yeah,
guy.
training together. You do look like I'm very realistic about football. I understand their level and I
Of course.
understand my level. Now, at the time, I was at their level, but a lot happens between them.
Yeah, of course.
And like, never want to be one of those guys. I could have.
No, you don't.
No. I'm telling you now, I never would have reached those levels. Like, absolutely clear about it.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are different ballers. Different.
Yeah.
If I stayed in that system, different story. But I'm not saying, like, as soon as I decided to come back to Australia, my career was finished from there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll make that absolutely clear. You don't come to Australia to then go back there.
No.
Like, I'll make that clear. If you get out here young enough and you learn over there, you'll do well. That's why everyone that goes there
Stays.
everyone goes there, though, ends up coming back.
Yeah.
Because they
like-
did the whole junior thing here. They don't know what it's like over there. They can't maintain that level.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's why you see, like, I'll give you an example. Aidan O'Neill,
Hmm.
he grew up in Premier League academies. He came back, maintained his level a little bit. As soon as he had the chance to leave again, he left. Now he's back over there. He's in New York now. He's chilling.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Look at a lot of these A-League boys. Like I know you mentioned Azani before, and it's not to single him out, but like, for example, he's someone, and Tilio as well.
Yeah.
You know, when Tilio went over to Celtic, and the first thing that they said about him was like, you're way behind.
Yep.
And it's...
They don't realize, man.
Makes sense,
People
yeah.
don't realize. Like, I remember my level back then. It's not what it is now.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
It's
And
10 years
I
ago.
take into the age comparison. Like, I'm obviously better at a lot of things now than I was then. But I'm talking like the real, like,
Like your IQ's up here, but your actual play style back then.
yeah, it was like different, you know. And
But over there, you're in the environment every single day,
you were
training
like-minded. Like,
at
you
that.
learn
Yeah,
off
yeah,
them.
yeah.
You're living
without
and
a doubt.
breathing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get thrown in with them and you got to survive.
100%.
And like at Sparta Rotterdam, for example, I'll tell you a bit of like where luck can play a certain element in your career, not all of it. I don't believe it, all of it. I get offered a deal with it, right? And by a guy called his name's Leo Ben Hacker. He was like the Dutch coach of '86 World Cup, right? Legend. And they offered me a deal. I was going to be put on a contract, everything. And then my agent goes to me, "Oh, the transfer window closes like in 2 days, but it's not that. Because I'm a minor, I was 17.
Yeah.
You have in Dutch law, you got to be registered in a school.
Yeah.
You got to
Oh
have a
my
residence.
days.
You got to have like a.
You need to build a whole new life in 48 hours.
Dude, this guy was rushing. I've never seen stress like I seen my agent at the time. Bless him, because he's a great man. The stress he went through in 48 hours trying to get it done, he couldn't get it done. So what happened was, and this is where the change happened. They go, "It's all right. You just can't play for this half of the season. Go back to Australia, keep fit, and then you come back and sign in pre-season." That was on offer to me. Now,
They wouldn't want to keep you just to train and not
no,
register. Could you
can't
do
play
that? Or...
Games, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of like a, and then how you going to survive there?
Exactly.
As well, like,
Yeah,
you
exactly
got-
So
right.
it
You're
comes
not
down
getting
to
any
it,
money. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then I came to Australia for the off season, right? And then this is where everything like sort of like I told you can go one way or it can go the other way. So I had the option to go back. This is my option to go back, right? Adelaide United call. They get in touch, I don't know how, with my dad. And they want me to come train for the last like week of their end of season or whatever. And Josip Gombel was the manager.
Wow.
And
Big head.
I remember my family saying to me like, "Look, go there for the week." I was like, "No." So why would I want to go here? Like my opinion of like the A-League was like that's like a downgrade.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather
Yeah.
go play under 19s in Holland.
Mm.
I didn't know any better, so like it's no disrespect on the A-League, but that's just the way my thought process
Yeah.
was. And I remember like I went there, I hated it. Like that like what football was, like I didn't understand like what the players were trying to do half the time.
Mm.
And no, that's no disrespect to them because a lot of them were senior pros.
Mm.
Like the ones who were there, and I seen like the ones who played at that level, like Marcelo Cruzca and
Yeah.
Isaias, Pablo Sanchez, Sergio Thirio, these boys, these guys
Ballers,
man. But like, I knew I didn't fit in. But family kept persisting because I think they liked the idea of having me in Australia.
Yeah, of course.
When you say you didn't fit in, was it the thing of you've learnt and educated, as you said, you were educated on football and what it was and what it takes to be a top tier footballer that when you came here, still at a young age, clearly just couldn't compare.
Yeah, it wasn't the same. And like, it was a different type of football. Like, it was literally like, the ball was going boom, boom, boom like this and people crashing into each other.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Did you feel like you had to learn a whole new style? Like
did.
You had to sit there and be like, okay, I got to learn a different football.
straight away. That's what I was saying to myself. If I stayed here, this is what I got to learn. I got to learn that it's just different here.
How old were you at this age?
Still 17.
So still 17.
In that
Was that like
17-year period, like that 17 years of age, I experienced a lot. It was like bonkers.
Straight out sounds hectic.
Crazy childhood, huh?
Yeah. But was that a bit overwhelming? Like when you did go to Adelaide and you were like, shit, like this isn't the football that I know. Like,
It's not overwhelming. I was always good at taking things because of what I've been through.
yeah.
Like in my junior years, at such a young age, like I always took things to my stride. But I knew what I did want and what I didn't want.
Yeah. And you didn't want that.
No,
you
I
wanted,
didn't.
You wanted,
but I got talked into it. Yeah, by family and
It's hard at that age.
Yeah.
I signed a 2-year deal with them, but like it's not all that bad. Like we obviously won the A-League in my first year.
yeah, you gained success at Adelaide.
You know, I had some like good memories like that year. I made my debut in front of 60,000 people against Liverpool in pre-season.
Well, there you go.
You know,
Yeah.
that was good. We played a week before they played Man City behind closed doors.
Yep.
That was my first ever senior minutes was against Manchester City. So the first time I stepped onto a senior field that wasn't like a junior game was Man City pre-season, and I'm there thinking I could turn with the ball in midfield and no one is going to be there. I didn't even check my shoulder. Do you remember Fernando?
Yep.
Not Fernandinho, Fernando.
Yeah.
Fernando.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, this guy was like 6 foot something. Yeah,
He bowled you.
like an ox, like stronger
Yeah.
than an ox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, he put his hip into me. I went through that door over there. I went through that door over there. I swear. Like I never been hit where I like wasn't in pain, but I felt it and I went flying. And I was like, "No, this is different."
It was
And
just full force.
I played 30 minutes. I was breathing like I'd played 120 minutes because senior football's different. Like the speed of the game with the men is just different. Like the ball's going back like this, and you don't have time. You have to play 1 or 2 times.
You're just doing doggies.
Yeah, only the good players can take 3, 4, 5 touches. Like the ones who understand the level and can manipulate the space and things like that.
And see the game a bit slower. Because for you, it's just like, but.
Dude, yeah, Toure was playing. Fernando, Toure, Jesus Navas.
Jesus.
It was crazy.
That's
Crazy, bro.
Because suddenly, you know.
Yeah. And it's,
one of my dreams.
And then like the Liverpool game was just something out of like
I was supposed to go to that game as well.
in Adelaide.
Yeah,
Really?
I was supposed to go to that game. Yeah.
My whole family were there. Like it was like my bro. Everyone in my family is a Liverpool fan except for me.
Oh
Who
wow.
you go for?
We know Liverpool.
there we go. Let's go.
No wonder.
Shit.
So you got my grandmother, Liverpool fan, mum, sister, my brother, all his kids.
Were they rooting for Liverpool?
Probably. Half the Adelaide United fans were cheering for Liverpool.
Straight out.
Yeah, that's
straight
true.
out.
That's true.
And I think the beautiful thing for me is Adelaide was playing, and when I came on, and I remember the commentators. I watched it back, and the reference they made is like how beautiful it was for me is that I used to clean his boots, and then I could
Wow.
enter the same field as him.
Wow.
And for me, that was a beautiful
That's
thing.
awesome.
And
yeah.
just the fact that he even acknowledged who I was after the game,
Really?
like that was beautiful for
That's
me.
massive.
Because I'm like,
That's insane.
how good is he
Yeah.
to remember that? I used to clean his boots, man, after training.
Mm.
That's
You know,
sick.
like
That's really cool.
It's class.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nuts, like nuts feeling. And I was gonna swap shirts with him. That's the player I wanted. But I seen SIS was sniffing around as well, like looking for his top, and I said to him, like, I know him, like I can get you his top. So I spoke to Anulana. I go, bro, this guy wants your top, but you got to get me Jordan Henderson's top.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he goes, I'll
nice.
speak to him. He goes, I met Jordan Henderson in the tunnel, swap shirts, but it's so funny, man. Like, it's one of them things, when you swap shirts with someone, especially someone big, you never think they want your shirt.
Yeah.
So I'm there with my top on, and he's got his top off. He goes, go on then. Like that. I'm like, Oh, fuck. Give him a song.
Yeah.
Who knows where that topic
Yeah.
is?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably in the
Yeah.
bottom somewhere.
He probably used it to wash his car.
It's
Yeah,
so-
literally. He's there going, Mells.
That
It's
is
about-
You know what I mean?
You always see that, like the Club World Cup that's going on now. Like you see, like the guys swapping shows with Messi. It's like some, like Brazilian team or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like,
bad.
like I wonder, like, what do you reckon Messi does with like?
I reckon they're the type of guys that keep every shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they
he'll
are.
keep every shirt.
I reckon when they're at that level, it's because it's just a memory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
played against this team. He's then and it doesn't have to be a big player shirt sometimes to remember.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in their
occasion.
main room display,
Yeah.
but it'll
Also,
be.
Jordan Henderson. Low key, he's like because they froth Aussies too. So he's like, oh man, Adelaide United, like what a cool kit. Where is he going to buy an Adelaide
Exactly.
United kit from?
Yeah,
But that's
exactly
part of
right.
the experience,
Yeah.
right? He'll see 20 of Chelsea's kit,
Yeah.
or 50 in his lifetime.
Yeah.
He won't
He's
see
barely
like
gonna
when he
send
goes
Adelaide
to
United.
America to travel for preseason or Tokyo
Yeah.
or wherever Australia. They go there like once.
I just can't believe out of the whole team, you wanted Henderson.
Was captain. It was his first. It was the first
First
year after
year's
Gerrard.
captain. Yeah,
And
fair enough.
my thinking is that like he's the captain and he's a midfielder.
Mm.
Was
Um,
Henderson at probably obviously before your time? Was he a Southampton product as well?
Nah, he wasn't Southampton.
Sunderland.
Yeah.
Different red and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll cut that
It's
out.
close.
Sunderland.
But yeah, so they were like some of the good experiences. They obviously won it that year.
Yeah.
And the manager, so it changed from Josef Rombau to Guillermo Moore. And yeah, like he had a lot of faith in me. He gave me a lot of minutes. And yeah, that was like a good year and a half.
Did your perception on the A-League change? Quick?
I think it's all perspective. Like, I think once I did like a pre-season with the team and I realized that I'd be playing senior football as opposed to be playing like junior football,
Yep.
it was sort of like, well, at least I'm playing senior football.
There you go.
Would you recommend that? What would you recommend more? Find the senior men's football, or go and do whether it's your.
I feel like it depends on
17s
people's
and 18s?
I
situations.
feel like it'd be under 19s in Europe, bro.
If you could stay in Europe as long as you can,
Yeah.
I would do that because there's just so many possibilities here. Like, you can get released from a club in Europe and go to another league and sign. Here, you get released from like Adelaide or Western United, you're struggling, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've
straight
got
up.
one or two moves left, and then you're done.
Yeah.
You're done after that. Then you're in the NPL, and then from the NPL, it's almost like, whatever happens now happens.
Well, it's like, and I feel bad almost saying his name because it's not for any bad reason. But like, for example, like Alex Minilau, he just got released from Victory.
Yep.
Which is weird because he's in that weird spot. He was killing it for Victory's NPL team.
Yeah,
Obviously, they put him on the senior
I
contract.
don't understand it.
So that for him could be a thing of, well, he maybe has realized I've reached, like, I'm not going to break into the Victory team here. I mean, I know he got released, but now he's obviously just signed for South Melbourne. So you hope for him and for that kid's sake, like, is it a case now I've got to work my way up to the top again and try break into Victory?
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
he's committed to South, like, for now, obviously. So it's not really a case of like Central Coast Mariners, for example.
Yeah.
I gotta
If
come
he doesn't
pick
get a
him up.
2-week injury.
I think that like boys at that age who leave like youth teams and stuff like that and sort of like sniffing around the senior team, I think it is harder for them. It is because if you weren't playing the seniors every week, it's going to be hard for someone to come in.
Difficult, yeah.
Well,
Like, if you-
no one's seen you play it too, like to
At
sign
that
you.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, like, someone like, let's say, use him as an example. I don't know how many senior appearances did he make?
Nah,
You?
none.
So it makes it hard, right? So then you come to NPL, you got to play very, very well to get out of the NPL.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've seen how many people over the years who haven't even had trials at these clubs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like footballers that could go play in Europe. Like, I always use like Christian Szajewski as an example, right?
100%.
Right? At Avondale. Had this kid doesn't play for an A-League club. Bro, the kid was working a job site. And he's doing Cruyff turns better than Johan Cruyff. Like, it's unbelievable. Like,
Well, we had Tommy Manos on the pod last week, and he
Yeah.
mentioned Brycey
yeah, Bryce,
as well.
Bryce,
Like,
I could go through the whole Avondale team. Bryce, he, like, as a centre back as well, like, the things that he does, like the way he can see a pass, the way he defends. It's probably one of the best centre backs I've played with, easily.
Well,
It's just the whole team. Yeah, like that Avondale team over the years, you could name so many players.
absolutely.
Yeah, like even Yusuf Ahmed.
Yeah, Yui. Yep.
Like,
Manny Aguek.
Yusuf Ahmed's like, my whole time in the NPL, I've never seen a player like Yusuf Ahmed. Anyone will tell you that. In a 1v1 situation, your knees start shaking. Because you know he's going to put the ball through your legs. It's a matter of time when he's going to do it. And it's like, but that's the thing though. Like, players with flair, forget about it. They're not going to look at you.
They're not going to look at you.
You're a risk player or something like that. And like, again, so you got like Chajeskis, you got Yarmids, who have never even played that level. I played that level, and I consider them to be, if not just as good as me.
How come with you, I guess a little bit if you want to go into it, you obviously you were at Adelaide, you had the Brisbane. Where did that A-League career sort of start for you? Because you've got to sort of had that thing that I feel like, whether you've heard it or not, but you know, people have to say, oh, yeah, Mells could easily play A-League. But what sort of for you was the moment where you sort of realised like, well, A-League's not the path anymore for you? Was there that sort of moment that made you realise?
I think just spending too long not playing competitive football, like at Brisbane, like spent pretty much my whole time there not playing.
Yeah.
And I was almost confused to why they signed me in the first place.
Yeah.
Like I could understand under Robbie Fowler when the team was good. Like team was phenomenal. I told you at the start.
Yeah.
So I was sort of biding my time. Then Aidan O'Neill left, and then I remember like Robbie Fowler sort of saying like, "Look, Aidan's gone. Like, make sure you come back from this COVID break that we had, fit, ready to go." He was going to come back in. Unfortunately, he never did. He couldn't agree with the club to come back in after COVID because there's a lot of cost cutting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we went into that bubble. I don't know if you remember, like the hub, and club signed Warren Moon. And it's like guys like him, like unfortunately, like that I'm gonna have to refer to now, is the reason why here in Australia, like they don't understand football.
The game's gone.
Yeah, like tells you he's gonna give you opportunity, then doesn't give you the opportunity to play. You do unbelievable training for no reward. That's why, like, it's all mates here. Like, I'll be honest with you. If you want to know, we'll cut through the bullshit. Yeah, it's all mates here.
100%.
It is. And it could work in my favour sometimes. 100%. I have a mate somewhere who brings me in and I start playing. It works for me. Sure. Sometimes it works against me. But like, if you want to know the truth, like, he had boys that he coached previously in and around Brisbane. He wanted to bring them in. But it's the way they go about it. Instead of sitting you down and saying, listen, I've got a couple of players that I know really well. Like, I've worked in other places. I want to give them the opportunity. I don't know you like that. Tell me like that. But instead, they've got to go around the other way. You're not good enough. Well, I remember having a meeting at Brisbane with coach and, you know, football director at the time and things like that. And they're telling me, like, you're not good enough to play in their league. Go fuck yourself. I'm not good enough to play in their league.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
Exactly.
I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You don't like me, is what you were supposed to say.
Just say I don't suit you. That's it.
Correct. That's it. Like I said at the start, sometimes your face doesn't fit the picture for that person.
Yeah.
There's a way to go about it. But they go about it wrong, man. They take your kit out of the change room, make you get changed somewhere else. They get you to train on the other field. But like, I'm no angel either. Like, when things like that happen, I rise to the occasion, and my shithousery is like unmatched.
Yeah.
Unmatched, man. I was on the sideline at Brisbane. I was coaching the team, like training from the sideline, because they made me train on the field. They would do, you know, like before the game, how you do like the 11v11.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even be on the team that wasn't playing. They started taking me out of that and put like younger kids in there to really freeze me out.
Yeah.
So what I started doing, I go on the other side and start coaching, telling the line to squeeze up, and they would send the coach the other side saying, "Look, the gaffer said you got to stop talking to him, so you can't tell me not to talk."
Yeah,
exactly.
That would have pissed them off.
So I knew how to play the game as well. Like I was a shithead like that, and but it's like if you go there with me, I'm gonna go there with you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I had a contract. They kept trying to get me to leave. They kept asking my agent, "Why is he not like go find another club?" I think it got to the point when they started disrespecting me, and the reason why I got to that is Newcastle Jets called for me, and they said to my agent, "We're playing you guys in a friendly game in pre-season in Coffs Harbour. Make sure George plays 45 minutes. We just want to see with our own eyes. It's still the same George that we know, and we'll take him off Brisbane's hand. Clean, done." You think Brisbane took me to the game?
No.
And
They didn't take you.
and they knew about this. No, so okay, so not only you want me to leave, you're trying to fuck me as well.
Yeah, no.
Now this is where it crosses the line. It gets personal because you're trying stuff with people's careers.
Yeah.
So that's when it gets toxic, and the things like they start moving your kit out of the change room. I start acting up. I had to have a PFA representative at training every single day, just so they could see that they will fall in within the like guidelines of what they can and can't do.
Fuck yeah, no. What a mess.
I told them at one point, I said, I will sit on Burleigh Beach every day and collect my money if you guys don't switch up your attitude. I will sit here for the whole rest of my contract, and I was on good money.
How long did you have on your contract at that time?
I still had like the rest of the year.
Oof.
I said I'll sit on Burleigh Beach every day. I said I like it here. Why would I leave?
Yeah, fair.
Sun's out, beach is good, mad weather. Like that's how I'd approach conversations with them
100%.
because they got to know that I can flip anytime. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You want me to like as soon as they think they've got you, that's it. Like they'll take the piss out of you. So
Yeah.
it got to the point where I knew the NPL window was closing in Victoria. I said to my agent, I said, listen, we've only got a few days. Get me as much money as I can out of this deal to terminate. And then I'll go sign for a club in Victoria. That's what I did. And then I signed at Port Melbourne.
Crazy.
That's literally the way it played out.
Yeah,
Far out. Smart.
Yeah. I got like still another 4 months out of him, salary. Because at that point, stuff like that's like they
Yeah.
treat you like that. People will like interpret that, it's chasing money. I wasn't chasing money. I couldn't give a shit about the money.
It's a respect thing.
Principle.
It's a
Yeah,
respect thing.
I still had like 6, 7, 8 months on a contract. Why shouldn't I get paid?
Yeah, no,
Fair
absolutely.
enough.
Especially if you're not giving me opportunities
It's a job.
and you're killing my career.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, I
Right.
think they clearly had no intention of playing you or giving you
No,
anything
no,
from
exactly.
there, there either. So
Yeah.
at the same time, but everyone has to look after themselves at the end of the day. Too.
I'm also a believer that you need to actually give the player an opportunity to then disregard him.
Exactly.
So don't disregard me about playing me. Play
Yeah.
me in a competitive game, 2 or 3 games. And maybe he could do something for us. Or maybe he can't.
Yeah.
Maybe you have the same opinion.
yeah.
Then sort of say, George, we gave you 2 or 3 games, man. Like,
It's not working
That's
out.
where you come to a common ground.
exactly. And I think that was with me with the Raw. That pretty like piss poor club, to be honest with you. Like in terms of the A-League environment, I know there's been some like situations people have alluded to at different clubs, but like I'd say almost every A-League club would have had their period of time where they were shambles of some sort.
It's actually wild because, again, like to touch on the Suitor and Buddha podcast, like I think it was maybe 2 episodes ago where they were saying like there are so many players that you wouldn't even know they get frozen out. And it's like
All the time, man.
it's a standard thing. And like
All the time.
we've had 2, well, one is still in the A-League, yourself being ex-A-League. It's like a fucking standard procedure, bro.
It is, man. Like when they could just switch on you anytime.
Like just,
It
yeah.
sounds like such a fucking toxic environment in the whole
Bad.
country.
I don't miss being in the A-League.
I wouldn't either.
You would take it if it's offered to you, no doubt. Like most people would take it if it's offered to them. But being there and experiencing it, there's no real desire for me to
go
ever
back
be
there.
in an environment like that.
Yeah.
Don't need to.
But and then
Whether I'm good enough or not is irrelevant now because like it's
It's done.
past that time for me mentally. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really care for it.
but you've been able to now
The toxicness of it.
go back into the MPL and
Yeah,
become the George Mells that everyone knows now.
yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed my time in the NPL. To be honest, like
You've played at massive clubs as well.
yeah,
Obviously,
like look, to be honest, the first 2 years at Port Melbourne, like they were obviously sort of that middle club always, weren't
Yeah.
they? Sort of just outside finals.
like the Southampton.
2 good, literally, spent 2 good years at Port when Adam Piddick was there, and I think we finished second 1 year, which is the
Yep.
highest finish in the NPL era. And we played semi-final as well, which was pretty mad for the club.
Just quickly, what's Piddick like as a manager?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's like, like the football side, like from his tactical output and his technical, all the information, and everything is top.
Yeah.
Really good. Man. He could definitely make a jump up to a different level. To be honest, his man management was a bit different.
Yep.
And like he'll admit that himself. Like it was an area for him. Like he thought that he could improve on. I think us as players knew that he could improve on that. But like, as a coach, though, football coach, like
Top.
yeah, top.
That's
Top.
sick.
You've been under some some big managers, man.
Yeah.
She went from Piddick
Yeah.
to Zoc
Yeah, Zoc's a different kettle of fish altogether.
into
Yeah.
Esteban.
Zoc's my favourite of everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoc's my favourite. He's
I don't think I've ever heard a bad word
Bro, I
about
was
Zoc.
just about to say
I don't think I've
Zoc's
ever
everyone's
heard
favourite.
a bad word
Do you know
about
why,
Zoc.
though? Because Zoc could just.
Do you think Zoc like ticks all the boxes in regards to like the way he manages the squad, his football IQ,
I'm just being a gentleman.
and just Zoc being Zoc? Like Zoc out off the pitch is the same as on the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, yeah, he's good. You can call him any time of the day, as well. Like you just call him. We talk to you for like 45 minutes to an hour about anything.
That's mad.
Anything. Like, and I think if you know him, if you've ever played for him, no matter where you are, you can still have that with him.
Yep.
Zoc was like, they got a good coaching team there. So like you got Jeff Fleming and Andy Vargas as well. And And they take training. Zoc doesn't take training. Zoc will sit from a distance and he watches everything.
It's cool.
And when I say watches everything, yeah,
That's
and
sick.
like he doesn't come need to take like a drill or like anything like that. He had his coaches who understood the way he wanted things done. But his man management was superb. Like when I first came to Avondale, he made me believe that I was the best player the NPL was ever seen.
Yeah.
He made me believe that.
It's top.
And then I went on to win a trophy with this wonderful group of boys because they truly were. It's the best team I've ever seen at NPL level.
Well,
That year, we broke all the records.
Yeah.
yeah, true.
You know?
It lived up to its Avengers.
To the Avengers.
I reckon I've used that on 3 podcasts.
Yeah.
Having Avondale players.
And do you know what the thing is as well? Is that like, you know, we're lucky enough. We've got a couple of the Avondale boys that come in, and they all say the same thing. It's like the group.
That's a group. It's
No
ridiculous.
one wants to leave that club
Nah.
because of the group. And Tommy said it last week on the pod. He goes, I said, as long as I'm here, I will be here. The day the club says, Tommy, you're no longer needed, he goes, I'll go. He's
Yeah.
like, but this group
Yeah.
is so tight knit.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, when things go right at Avondale, they go right. When they go wrong, it's like the group just like, hey, let's switch on and run again. But
It's like that. It's like that.
and they all say, and as soon as they say that, it's again they end the sentence with, "It's full credit to Zoc."
100%, yeah. How many NPL clubs do you see where like there's 7-8 players who stay there for more than 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Exactly
don't
right.
see it. The turnover's massive.
Yeah.
But you look at Avondale, like you look at Joey Katabian, you'd say Towns, Matthew Reid. Look at all these guys. Bryce has been there 2-3 years. Trajewski's been there for like 6 years.
Yep.
Yusuf Ahmed's been there for like 6-7 years. Stefan Zinni. So like the core group of players have been there for a long time. Valentini was there, came back as well. So obviously there must be something good happening if he comes back. So, and you look at like guys like myself, and they have good things to say about Avondale. I was like on the phone with like Xander Guy and Dylan Jacoby the other day, and we are talking about like that was our right side. Like I was the right midfielder in the grand final. Xander right winger, Dylan Jacoby was my right back. And we were just talking about that 23 season.
It's a fucking technical right hand side.
It's mad, but had
Jesus.
everything. Had pace.
Had
Like,
everything.
Xander had the pace and the trickery. Dylan Jacoby was a machine. Fittest player you've ever seen. Up and down, just bombing on. Always give you, and I was just the one that get the ball and just move it sort of thing. And we're just talking about like the grand final in 23 and then like that season in general, those last like 10 games where I sort of came in and sort of just ran the show a little bit when Yute was on holiday and he came back in and joined us for the grand final, which was great for him. He's probably one of the best midfielders this league's seen, like in terms of consistency as well. He's actually one of my favorite people to have played with and against.
Wow.
He's just the respect he has. Like I remember we played South Melbourne, played them like that first half of the season. They beat us 4-0, right? And just like the respect he had for me, just like it was just nice. Like the friendship was still there. Like every time the ball went out of play or someone went down injured, he had put his arms around me and would talk.
It's mad.
And like just like you see someone like that, and because you shared that on the field with them when you won stuff, and they still have that respect and that you're seen almost like it's common, like you're one of them sort of thing. And at that level, because they are the level, like it
would mean a lot.
I know Burger's having a great year as well, by the way, but like Avondale just consistently at that level, right? And just such a stacked team and things. So
Xander Guy is another name. I met him last year when we went up to Gold Coast.
yeah,
So he retired, but I'm saying he's just signed again.
yeah,
for Gold Coast Knights.
and the guy's the best.
He
man.
posted his retirement post and everything.
He's the only one that's allowed to do that.
Made the big speech.
He's the only one. Xander
And now he's back.
And now he's back at Gold Coast Knights.
Xander Guy's just got X factor.
Yeah.
Like he was a big game player, big game player, and he's a free spirit, man. Like even the thing like retiring and that. Like I told him, like man, 1 month you're gonna come back. No, it's too much toxic energy in football, this and that. 1 month later, Xander Guy he comes back.
He's back.
And I'm like, I was giving him shit the other day. I'm like, man, 4 weeks it took you. Couldn't even wait like a couple months.
Yeah.
When you watch like
funny.
when you watch Xander Guy play, it's like pressure is non-existent to this bloke.
Nah, man, doesn't feel pressure.
And like when I tell, like I only met him once in that brief thing. We went to Gold Coast with Ultra to do a video, and Scott McDonald obviously is their coach, and he's sick. He's a legend, Scott McDonald.
I played with him at the Raw.
Yeah,
He's good.
True. He is
good.
the best. Like, man, like we need someone to do an interview. Austin Ludwig was like the captain there.
Yep.
Now he's at Brisbane Raw, and he was a player that I've watched. I've gone, what the fuck are you doing playing here? Like and he's like a big boy.
He's a
too.
fucking tank.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, you have to get." And then we go, "Fuck, who can we get for an interview?" He goes, "Everyone hears Austin speak." He goes, "Get someone else." And he sees me walk over to Xander Guy, just randomly, just because he was injured at that time, so he wasn't playing. And Scott goes, "Out of fucking everyone, you had to pick him." They go, "What did he say about us?" And I was like, "Man," I go, "Hey," Scott said to just keep it calm. He goes, "He thinks I'm a fucking idiot, doesn't he?" And straight from that moment, I was like, "Fuck!" You can see now what like everyone said about him.
Yeah.
He almost plays that same way that from that 5 minutes that I spoke to him.
Yeah.
That what he was like.
Yeah.
But what for me stood out was he was injured, but when the boys were out warming up, he was there in his tracksuit, but just standing like this. And then every player that walked past him, "Hey bro, how are you?" And he's sitting there, and it went quiet for a little bit during the warm up, and he's like, "Hey, come on, let's switch it on." I was like, "Fuck, that's what you need."
Yeah, he's like
That's
this.
what you want.
Head character, man.
Like that's
Such
so
a good personality.
Yeah,
And that year in particular, that 23 team, and to be honest, even 24 team was brilliant as well. The team they have now is brilliant, but that 23 team was just, you just had the perfect balance. Like, you had like Liam Boland, like for example, leading the line, and he was sort of coming off the bench towards the back end of the season, but like top goal scorer ever in the NPL. And you had Yusuf Ahmed, who would, not fill in, but he was starting at the time and as a striker. You had X Factor, and it was just like through that whole team, it was just, you had energy everywhere. You had Blake Carpenter.
Yeah,
Zinnies.
Blake's like a fucking Energizer bunny, man. he
The
doesn't
people,
stop.
man.
He is a people.
Doesn't stop, man. Doesn't stop. Like, the laughs that kid provides.
Wait, did you see what he done? What, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
No, what's he done?
Fucking hell, comes on
Oh, the headbutt.
the headbutt, and then to top it off, he messages me. He's like, "Zizzle, I need a haircut." I'm like, he goes, I need the Zidane haircut this week, and I'm like, for fuck's sake. He just he just gets up and he heads. I was like, "What were you thinking?" He goes, "Bro, I don't know." I was like,
Nah,
That's
the
Blakey.
laughs that this kid has provided. I've known him since he was in the youth team at Adelaide United. Yeah, he was like 16, I think. He was like 15 even
yeah,
back then.
15, younger.
I was in the seniors. He was playing the youth team, and I remember back then he was cool. Like, he was just different. But you always felt like, because the way he used to play, that he was going to be like a player.
Yeah.
And again, probably another one's probably not unlucky. Like, he's unlucky to not have like progressed up into the A-League and stuff like that. Just such quality and such energy down the left. But yeah, some of the last, man, that kid, he's different. I remember one time, which I hope he doesn't mind me saying, he got injured once, and I remember more training, man. I remember Zoc was G'ing him up, like these like karate kicks.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Blake, like, do this karate kick, man." He goes up to the mannequin, does this like spinning kick on it. He's torn like he's like,
my
he's
days.
out for ages,
wow.
man.
Fucking
I'm
hell.
like, oh my god, just because of doing a G up before training. He used to do like these like finishing moves, like these somersaults and like these like
He's
tackles, and
cool.
I'm like, oh my god. And one of them ended badly, and we're just like, I remember us sitting there after the change room going, "How's he gone in just like flying kick before training? We're all G'd up for him to do it, and he's just gone.
And now he's gone.
Poor guy. Can't say no.
You've got this. I don't know. You've got this look about you when you speak about Avondale. Like it's.
Yeah, no, it was mad. It was a mad experience. Like we won the club's first title.
Yeah.
Like that stays with you. It stays with you. Like you. I mean, I can't say I've ever won a club's first title before. So
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm just saying that just stayed with you. Like, I talk to people about Avondale now.
Yeah.
And say it's the best club, best NPL club, best well-run club. The people there, fantastic. For me,
They're on their way to big things. man.
like South Melbourne, the move there is close to home, 2 minutes. Got my academy stuff in the evenings as well, the coaching, and that was convenient. It's my home club as well. Like my grandparents are proud, family is very proud. But only fond memories of Avondale, really. Even those periods of time that I didn't play that much in my second season, still love it.
it was just good. That was there.
Yeah, good group, man.
And now back at Port.
Yeah, till the end of the season. And to be honest with you, I think it's probably a good move for me to see out the rest of the season and to sort of reassess what happens after that. Like, I don't want that club to go down.
Yeah, no.
I'm absolutely desperate for them to stay up, and it's the first club I landed at in my NPL career, and I've got such fond memories of, being that sort of like team that everyone sort of thinks is like crap or mediocre, and we just like.
But they're actually not a shit team.
No,
This is the thing. Like, they actually play a really good brand of football. They've got a lot of decent young players. I think again, it's just been like those unlucky moments in games where sort of that not immaturity, I guess, the lack of maturity in that squad doesn't get them through that game.
Player, like you got to remember, like you're playing for points as well. Like,
Exactly.
There's a lot on the line, and one loss can lead to two can lead to three, and it's a slippery slope from there,
Absolutely.
right? And
it's tough because those middle table teams are they're tough to play against.
Yeah, they are.
Like, even though they're sitting there, they're very tough to play
They're
against.
picking up points as well, which is hard. And like you even saw, like the last game playing against St Albans, we lost that game. They're like 2 places above us or something. Yeah. But then all the teams around us won.
Yeah, exactly.
So then they move away a little bit more.
Yes.
And so now these last 6 games, we need to get some wins, like desperately get some momentum together. And to be honest, there's a good group there. Like there's a good young group. Like the core group is pretty good. The manager's very good.
I've heard some really good things about the manager.
Russian background.
He's technical.
Tactical mind.
Technical
He was
vision.
at Melbourne Uni.
Yeah,
When-
Melbourne Uni. They were
when Bristol
undefeated
played
in
against Melbourne Uni.
State 4.
Yeah.
They're undefeated in State 4, and
And he was like, everyone just knew, like, okay, like it's a matter of time before he gets picked up.
I've got to be honest. Like I've spent only a short time with him, but I've seen his video sessions and his analysis.
yeah, ridiculous.
Like even this level's probably beneath him. If I'm being honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's probably beneath him. Like
Well, that's what the thing was. Like, he was coaching State League 4
Yeah,
at Melbourne Uni, and like,
and doing full analysis.
and because he's quite big on Instagram, he puts all his stuff up, and like it was full analysis on West Preston games. Like at that level, like it's the coach's analysis is because my mate went and had a souvlaki and a ciggy and watched them play, and the striker's got to go through you. Like if we're being honest, and they go, boys, go out there, fucking get stuck in. And this guy came out with a full PowerPoint presentation and everything.
Yeah,
Because they're a physical team, they like to move the ball, and it was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
okay. And then that's a State 4 Melbourne Uni team.
and they were undefeated before he left as well.
Yeah, and they played good.
they would have.
You confident next 6 games to pick up some points, get out of
I
relegation?
think we'll pick up some points.
Yeah.
Whether we get out of relegation, though, to be honest, is going to ultimately depend on other results as well.
Which is a
that's
tricky
the honest-
situation to be in.
That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
It's an uphill sort of battle, but
No doubt.
very doable.
Yeah.
It's very doable. We're lucky we get to play a couple of those teams still. Which then falls back into our own hands. Like we have to do something with that. And ultimately you need to keep boys fit.
No doubt.
So
I think this season's probably been the most exciting NPL season for quite some time.
it's been different.
Like Avondale and Heidelberg going head to head. Like
It's been good.
the dandies are sitting in there.
Thunder's been good to watch.
Thunder's been a dangerous team. But yeah, man, it's all to
That
play
middle
for.
of the table is sort of so close.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sick.
League,
Sick to say the points
Yeah.
change.
And I think it was interesting as well. Like you look at Preston, who started so strong.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
came out of the traps so fast, didn't they? Like I thought they were going to carve the league up at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like you had like so much attacking power with like Albano and Brooks and all these guys started so well, and then sort of seeing that last few weeks, it's sort of like at mid to late part of the season when it gets cold, the pitches are muddy,
They were
sort of
tired.
struggling for results a bit lethargic and things like that, and it's like shows this league's dangerous, man.
100%.
Dangerous.
they
league.
changed their kickoff times just to suit.
There you go.
They went from Friday night home games to now Sundays at 3:00 because of the winter.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. They canned the Friday night games like 2-3 rounds ago. Now they're at Sundays at 3.
Smart. It's fucking cold.
No,
Friday
grow
nights, man.
up.
Grow up, bro. It's Friday night footy.
Nah, man, it's cold.
That's disgusting.
Hey, we were.
I want to survive in the league, bro. It's cold.
That's terrible.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. That Friday night against South, that Friday night game with 10,000 people there was stinking hot. I was like, bro,
Oh, the first game.
yeah, I'm like, get me out of this industrial area of Preston now. That Uber drive was a shame.
Yeah,
It was a
shambles.
long game for us boys because after we got the red card,
Oh, yeah.
we're running around like
Just
dogs.
doggies.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, it was when Albano scored the penalty and they're celebrating, in my head, I'm like, hey, I know we've lost here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
He's
done.
going to get torn apart.
But it was weird. We went through a period in the second half.
We were dominating.
We were dominating.
It was
And then
dominating,
I
and it was on.
In my head, I'm like, dude, we can get something here. And then it switched again.
Yeah.
And then it's like counter attack, second goal.
And then like
And then you're running
the fans
purely
started.
just for the badge after
Yeah.
that. You are running just for the badge after that. Like,
Yeah.
save face, have some pride in what you're doing,
Yeah.
and run it out to the end. And just you got to accept defeat at some point, and
So cooked.
that's how it ended. But I guess the last thing is what we haven't spoken is Melbourne Knights. Like how big how a big club like that, is bottom of the table.
Crazy.
And it's obviously it's dangerous territory now. We're in those final stages.
That's massive.
Do you know what was wild? They're setting up for that pen, and you just hear the commentator saying it's been 4 months since Knights have won their last game.
Oh, wow.
And they won their first game in 4 months. Like, this is Melbourne Knights, for fuck's sake. Like, we're talking about Melbourne, Croatia. And they're sitting fucking bottom of the table, and they're grinding out wins against Melbourne Victory.
Yeah.
It just shows you, though, when you're down, like in this game, if you're down, like
bro, they've copped it this season, man. A full
full
board change, coaching changes, players leaving, but they've made some signings, so I guess we'll wait and see. But
that's it.
Melzy will be watching.
Thank you.
We'll be keeping an eye out on the next 6 weeks for you, and then hopefully what is to come for the next season. Hopefully we see you back on the park with a solid season ahead and the future. Yes. But I reckon we can. That was a top out.
It's past Baz's bedtime.
Yeah, Bazza needs to get ready for school tomorrow. Sorry. Yeah. He'll do his homework. Hey, you watch. They're gonna get in the car. They'll turn left onto Keeler Road. Baz will be asleep. Yeah, he's the shittest passenger to ever have in a car.
Facts.
No, but as Jamie said, thank you again for your time. It's obviously a late night. You've come back from your training academy as well. So,
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been great. We've had a laugh.
Thank you, man. The stories have been unbelievable, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's it. Yeah, done. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.